Yo, yo, yo. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, everyone. Excited to be back for another live stream. My name is Justin Moore. I'm the founder of Creator Wizard, where I teach you how to find and negotiate your dream sponsorships. Let me know where you're tuning in from today. I am live in my private community. I'm live on YouTube, live on TikTok, Twitter, what did I say? TikTok, LinkedIn, you name it. And today we're going to be talking about something a little bit controversial, maybe. I have a different perspective on this than most. But the title of today's live stream is Brand Paid You 50% Less? Here's why it doesn't matter. Okay, you're probably thinking, that would be terrible if a brand paid me 50% less than I normally get. How could that not matter? Okay, I don't understand that. But that's why we're here today, to talk all about this. So let me know where you're tuning in from in the chat. We got D and fam. What's going on, D? Good to see you. I'm going to start using this. I forget to use the soundboard till like almost the end of the live stream all the time. So I'm going to start using it more. We got Fourth Born Child tuning in. We've got Sarah. We've got Parson D33. Great to see y'all. All right, so let's hop right into it. Again, I am going to be doing a Q&A a little bit later, so make sure you've got your typing fingers ready. And oh my goodness, I forgot to pull up the IG Live. What is wrong with me? We've got Life with Brandy, Moniqua09. Good to see you as well. Okay, so let's talk about this. So do y'all ever sit down and do the math on how much you earned from your creator business, like, let's say in the last 6 to 12 months, right? Maybe it's at tax time. We start to really think like, wow, like, we're starting to make some pretty good money. Maybe it's a side hustle for you, but you're actually starting to like derive income from this being a creator thing, which is kind of cool, right? And so, whether you are, hitting the numbers that you were hoping to for this year, or maybe, I don't know, maybe you're actually knocking it out of the park. So good for you. Let's get some cha-ching going there, right? But if you are like me, you probably kind of forget about the individual deals that you have done over the months, right? And you probably kind of just look at the grand total. That's really what your bookkeeper is asking for, or maybe you're doing it on TurboTax, or you're doing it yourself or whatever. It's not like you're going in and you're looking at each individual deal and be like, oh yeah, I remember making this. It was like, oh, how much did I make from being a creator? How much did I make from these sponsorships, right? Because, I mean, again, big or small, you earned it, okay? You put a lot of work in. I get it. It's not easy, right? But when you are in the heat of a negotiation for a specific brand deal or a specific partnership, it can be really easy to get hung up on getting paid your full rate, right? Because let's say you deserve it, right? So I want to talk about today why losing out on a few dollars here and there doesn't actually matter, okay? And so the first point is that it's not personal. Okay. Most brands are beholden to internal budgets, okay, that are set in stone. And these are going to vary based on things like, what the particular marketing initiative is, what the campaign type is, right? We've talked about this a lot, whether it's conversion or repurposing or awareness focused, what the terms of the deal are, right? Like maybe it's exclusivity or usage right or whatever. What are the deliverables? Like, what are they actually asking you to do, right? And even time of year, right? Budget can, we're in squarely in Q4 now. Lots of people know that, a lot of brands backload their marketing budgets to this, holiday time season, especially if it's a consumer focused brand. And so if a brand tells you that their budget is, let's say, X, and that's maybe 20% less than you would typically charge, they're probably not trying to sell you short specifically, okay? A lot of creators feel very attacked by, or it's very hard for them to contain their emotions when they feel as though brands are lowballing them. And so what's actually probably happening here, because again, I've been on the other side of this. I ran an agency for many years. I've been behind the scenes. I've been in the rooms with these brands when they're trying to figure out their budgets. And what they are usually doing is they are allocating their budget like a game of Tetris, right? So they're figuring out how they can lock in their favorite creators who all charge different amounts, by the way, right? You can take one creator who has 10,000 followers and another person who has 10,000 followers, and they could charge 2 or 3x the amount, one of them, than the other. And brands are sitting there, scratching their head thinking here, like, what's going on here? What's the discrepancy here? It's because there's no standardization there. It's very difficult. There's no real education other than me, obviously, clearly, to help creators understand how they can quantify and value their worth. Right. And so it's kind of all over the map for these brands. And so the reason I want to say it's not personal is because the last thing you want to do is drive negotiations into the ground over chump change, okay? Because if you do, you are at risk of damaging your relationship with that brand. And so after all, by the way, you don't have to take the dang deal if a brand simply can't meet your terms, right? And so at worst, you will politely tell them that it's not going to work out this time. That's okay to say that. But that, you'd love to remain in touch for, possible future collaborations. It's like, take it from me, banging your head against the wall, trying to get your full rate when it's clear that the brand can't meet it is just a massive waste of time. Okay. And so that's kind of the first thing I wanted to talk about here, because a lot of creators take this stuff extremely personally. And the best creators that I have worked with over the years are able to kind of draw a line. They're able to understand and compartmentalize this part of understanding that when a brand lowballs you, it's not always like a personal attack on you. It's just, they're constrained by certain internal things that you don't have control over, right? Just wanted to mention that. We've got Delina Segal, we've got Katricia Rose, what's up? We got Aaron's House of Legos, good to see y'all. We've got Shannon, Skip to My Life, what's going on, Shannon? Shannon, Skip to My Life said, I'm noticing more influencers are starting to talk about their rates, which is super helpful. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like if we are, going to get better at this stuff, like we have to band together. That's why I started this channel, this platform, to be able to talk about this kind of stuff, because you're right, Shannon, it can be considered very taboo. And so I am here to dispel those myths. And Maniqua said, Justin, hey, Justin, how was your trip? Thank you for asking. I appreciate that. My wife and I, the reason I wasn't on the live stream last week is because my wife and I took a little getaway. The last cohort of my course ended, and kind of as a celebratory thing, we went on a weekend getaway without the kids to Seattle for the weekend. And so it was a lot of fun, ate a lot of great food, saw a waterfall. I'm a big nature fan. So that was a lot of fun. Thanks for asking, Maniqua. It was great. All right. So before we jump into Q&A, I did want to talk about two other things related to this topic. What to do when a brand is charging you less money than you're accustomed to. So personally, I charge every brand differently. Okay. See, brands, they rarely talk to each other, okay? And on the off chance that they do, it's definitely not about specific rates that creators are charging them for partnerships, okay? And so it is 100% fine to have significantly different pricing strategies for the different brands that you're working with, obviously relative to the various terms and deliverables for each campaign, okay? But it's a little different when it comes to advertising agencies, okay? Or PR agency or an influencer agency or whatever. Agency colleagues who work across different brands do talk to each other, for sure, okay? And so, two account executives working at the same agency will both know when you try quoting them, let's say 2x what you did last month, okay? And so, the most important thing when you are working with an agency or a brand on multiple occasions is that you want to verify what you charged them last time. Okay. And so, because you don't want to accidentally, ask for, let's say, 5 times more, unless your influence or your performance or, the campaign dynamics warrant that. And you definitely don't want to ask for 50% less by mistake. Right. And so at the end of the day, the most important thing is rate consistency per brand and per agency. Does that make sense? So as long as you are, your word is, in my opinion, like your word is your bond in this industry. And so if brands look at you as someone who is completely unpredictable and they say, you know what, we can't really build Justin's, Justin's platforms into our plan because we don't know what his rate is going to be. Every time we reach out to him, he changes it. And so, you know what, it's just unreliable. We're not going to work with him anymore. Right. I've actually seen this challenge when creators have managers, right? The managers will just arbitrarily, like the creator will say to the manager, I want to make more money. And so the manager will say, okay, we're going to raise your rates. And they do this constantly. It's like this constant game where then the agency who wants to work with that creator reaches out to the manager. And then the manager says, oh, rates have gone up. And the agency is just like, oh my God. Like I'm telling you, this happens all the time. And so again, at the end of the day, one of the most important things is rate consistency per brand and per agency. Obviously, again, if the campaign dynamics warrant it or you've grown, all that stuff, yes, that is a justification for increasing your rates, but otherwise do not arbitrarily change your pricing, okay? All right. And the last thing I wanted to mention here, okay, is how you need to look at your sponsorship strategy as your personal stock portfolio. Okay. What I mean by this is that ultimately the big unlock for me, when, I started thinking about our sponsorship strategy in this way was looking at it as a diversified stock portfolio. Okay. How much you make on each individual stock is kind of irrelevant. Right? What's most important is how much you're bringing in consistently and your returns over time, right? And so, like we talked about at the beginning, at the end of the year, do you think you will remember that one deal that paid you, let's say, 10% less than your usual rate? No, you probably will not. You're probably going to look at your grand total and think, man, this is a great year, right? Or your bookkeeper will say that to you, right? Hey, good work this year, right? And so, what I humbly implore you, dear creator, is to stop fighting over pennies on every single deal if the offer is fair, okay? The last thing you want is for trivial stuff to sour your relationship with the brand or the agency and just torpedo your chances of winning future business, okay? So, now that I'm off my pedestal, I wanted to say that because I hear this a lot. I've even seen it during negotiations when I ran the agency with creators a lot of time. It's just like my way or the highway. And you know what? I respect that. That's fine. But, that deal could have turned into a lot more business for that creator down the line, and understanding the constraints on the other side of the table when it comes to negotiating leverage. Again, I think a lot of creators have a hard time with this, is that they work with a lot of different brands, but they just try to get their standard rate for every single deal. And, my wife and I are doing sponsorships all the time, and they are wildly different rates. Obviously, again, the SOW, the deliverables, the terms, all that stuff varies from deal to deal. But we'll do deals for 25,000. We'll do some deals for 5,000. We'll do and these are on different platforms and different deliverables and all this stuff too. But it's like at the end of the year, it all contributes to our overall income picture, right? And so I think that's like a really important mindset shift when it comes to your sponsorship strategy overall. So with that being said, I'm going to dive back into the chat here. Want to answer some of your questions. Strawberry Road said, great point about the 10% thing. The platforms feel so out of touch when they ask for our standard rates. Like, you've told us nothing about usage, timeline, and exclusivity. That's exactly right. And they're depending on us. They believe that, we, are, ignorant to the fact that those types of additional information are going to wildly change how much we should charge for it. But most creators don't realize that. That's why I have this platform, right, Nina? Right? Katisha Rose says, as long as I'm being paid enough to not actually resent the work or the project, and I'm being treated with respect, totally fine with negotiating. It also depends on the brand relationship. 100%, Katricia, and I'm really glad you brought that up. You know why? Because this is like a framework that I think is actually very helpful when it comes to deciding whether or not you want to negotiate or you're willing to like concede on your rate or something like that. Is even when you were putting together a pitch or putting together a proposal for a brand, it should be your numbers that you should put on there are either going to be hell yeah or nah, right? And if it's nah, then you either like if they were to select package one, let's say for example for $1,000 or whatever, you're not going to like get that email being like, okay, let's move forward with package one. And you're just like, oh man, I was hoping they wouldn't do that or whatever. You never want to be in that situation because like Patricia said, you're going to resent the brand the entire time. It's not going to turn in, the output of the partnership is probably not going to be fruitful. And it's just going to be, it's going to sour, your taste of working with that brand or just doing this in general. And I've actually seen this cause a lot of creators to just not want to do sponsorships. Right? They feel like, sponsorships are just like a waste of time. Like, it's just too much work. The brands are a nightmare, like all this stuff. Like, believe me, I bet you there is a number that you could give them where you just be like, hell yeah, if the brand says they're going to pay me $5,000 for this, like, let's do this thing, right? Let's do this, right? And so I bet you there exists a number for you that would be a hell yeah number. And so my recommendation is that with anything you do, any proposals, anything like that, you got to have your hell yeah numbers on there, right? Because you just do not want to get it. Yeah. We got Caleb or Brittany, I don't know who it is. Almond Landscape LLC said resentment is poison. 100% correct, right? Resentment is poison, not just with respect to your sponsorship strategy, but the content that you're creating too. If you're creating content expecting that you're going to get something in return, views or engagement or likes or comments or whatever, replies, DMs, whatever it is, and you don't get the volume that you're expecting or you think the volume that you deserve or whatever, and you resent either the platform or you resent your audience for not engaging with it or whatever you do, that is poison. Instead, I'll borrow a page from Ryan Trahan's book, and he said, content is a gift. It is something that you bestow and you do not ask anything in return. You'll feel as though you will have improved someone's life by putting this piece of content out into the universe, and that is enough. You don't need to sit there and constantly refresh it and see how many views it's getting or see how many, how much engagement you're getting or whatever. It's a gift. It's a gift that you are giving. And that mindset shift, I heard him speak at Vid Summit, and it was great. I really love that because like Caleb says, resentment is poison. And if you get into this, it's a very vicious cycle where you kind of look at yourself in the mirror and you just compare yourself to your peers. And it's just like, can be very frustrating. And so 100% agree with that. And Shannon says, and also it really comes down to, is this a great fit for my audience? Am I proud to bring this to them? 100%, Shannon. And I want to real quickly call you out here, Shannon, because not call you out. I want to acknowledge you because I had a one-on-one. So Shannon is an alumni in my Brand Deal Wizard program. I also did a one-on-one with her recently. And one thing I love about Shannon is literally on her wall, she has these signs. She has the hell yeah or the no signs on her wall, along with some other printouts from the course and stuff like that. But I love that sometimes you need that visual reminder when you are interacting with brands or whoever, partners, to decide like, okay, is this something really I'm going to get stoked about and get really excited about? Because when you are energized and when you're enthused, you do your best work. Am I right? Right. So I just want to acknowledge you, Shannon, and appreciate that. Holy cow, we got Paul Jameson giving the Friday super chat. Holy cow, $19.99. Paul, you are just way too generous, man. I really, really appreciate you, Paul. Those of you know who you tune in on the weekly live streams, any super chats that you send me, always goes to our No Cook Friday DoorDash fund for me and my wife. And so, Paul, I don't know how many DoorDashes you've funded now. I feel like this is something you do every week now, which really appreciate it. And I do also want to acknowledge Paul, because Paul, I don't know how many one-on-ones we've done together, man. You're also an alumni of the course, but you are also one of the inaugural members of our brand new program called Wizards Guild. And I wanted to quickly mention this because I'm so excited about it. But Paul, so there's this, one of the most requested things that we have heard from our alumni of our courses and our past one-on-one coaching clients is, man, okay, I don't have a manager, but I want more ongoing support. So like when brands are emailing me and they're asking me for things, or how much should I charge for this, all this kind of thing. Sometimes it's just, I just need to ask like a quick question to someone, like, is this okay? Like for them to me, what should I say in response? Like, what should the email say? This type of thing. And so we've heard this a lot. And these are, oftentimes scenarios that wouldn't require an entire direct one-on-one conversation. It's $1,000 an hour is what the investment is for one-on-ones with me. And so sometimes it wouldn't require that, right? And so we are super excited because we designed this program where it is asynchronous support directly from our team. So every Tuesday and Thursday mornings, Dee and I are in there on this tool called Volley, where we're able to send videos. Paul, it has signed up this week, and so able to send videos, proposal links, written questions, voice notes, screen recordings, and so on, and just get quick answers. So, okay, like what should I say? I need to respond to them by tomorrow or whatever. And so it's just, I'm so excited about it because I feel like it represents a middle ground between like folks who don't have a manager and really would just prefer to be able to directly ask our team questions versus like just kind of shooting in the dark, I guess you could say, right? So this is like people who are comfortable kind of doing the interactions, getting on the phones with brands and stuff like that. They aren't interested in like delegating all of that to like a full-time manager or whatever. And so we're really excited to be able to step into that void and provide support. The investment's $1,000 a month. And it is limited to alumni of our courses or our past coaching clients. And so I'm really excited, y'all, because, this is a new thing that I'm trying out. And as with anything, I feel like I've been very transparent about all the different things I've tried over the last 2 years, ever since starting Creator Wizard. It just feels like such a fun ride. It's like, that is honestly one of the things I love about being a creator is that, when you're in a normal 9-to-5 job, it's like your job description is quite finite, right? It's like this is what you're going to do. This is like a laundry list, right? And so the ability to kind of deviate from that or go outside of that or explore or invest in your education or like do different stuff, unless you like go to a new job or get promoted or whatever. But even if you get promoted, it's like kind of still a similar job, so. But with a creator, it's like, it's not for everyone, I understand, but like you have this kind of like infinite ceiling, this infinite like pathway in front of you where it's like the path is completely forged by you. That's the most amazing thing is that like, yes, there's been other creators who have done, similar things to you, or, maybe you want to launch a book or you want to have a community or you want to start a podcast or whatever you're doing, right? But like, for your own personal journey, like for me, I don't know any other sponsorship coaches, obviously, other than Dee. This is a title I've created for myself, right? And so doing the course and doing these one-on-one calls and having a membership and like having a community and all this stuff was completely foreign to me. 2 years ago, I had no idea about how to do any of this stuff. Obviously, my wife and I have been creators for many years doing our own personal stuff, but in terms of like educating other creators, this is a completely new trail that we're blazing basically. And so it's like, to me, it's nerve-wracking, but also so exciting, and I just could not even imagine doing anything else. Like I just get so excited waking up every day and like figuring out something. How am I going to grow my newsletter today? I really want to launch a podcast. How can I do this? Guys, I'm really excited. Okay. I'm not going to spill the beans too much, but I'm launching a podcast, guys. I'm putting it out into the universe, and it's the topic of the podcast is going to be so fun. I'm really excited because a lot of the stuff I do is kind of serious, and like the live streams. I feel like I am kind of silly, but like even in my YouTube videos, but this podcast is going to be fun. That's the best way in which I can describe it. And I'm really excited to kind of to share about what it's going to entail. You're not going to be able to predict it, trust me. And so I'm really, really stoked for that. Mark LeBrun, my bro, your video and sound is clean, my man. Thank you. Let's get an applause for that. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate you. And he's saying, what platform are you using? Well, you know what? I am using Restream, which is allowing me to multi-stream on all the different platforms that I'm on. So IG, Instagram, TikTok, all LinkedIn, everywhere. So I appreciate you acknowledging the crispiness. Thank you. Shannon says, go Justin. Thank you, Shannon. I appreciate you. Let's see. 1230_172 said on TikTok, I love your family. I used to watch you guys before your firstborn. Holy cow. Thank you so much. That really means a lot to me, honestly. I really appreciate that. The Lenny Hunt has a question here. Is there a time when you've broke a contract in the middle? You know what? When we have broke a contract in the middle, no, we have never broke a contract ever, but we have had a contract broken a few times for like the brand broke it because they either didn't want to proceed with the partnership. They had to pay us a kill fee. Several times we'd actually produced all the content already and they still paid us, the kill fee because they decided to terminate the agreement for other reasons beyond our control. I can't remember any other times where that has happened. Yeah, I mean, speaking of termination clauses, I mean, this is one thing, another area that I would really recommend, when you're reviewing your contracts and when you're working with brands and so on, is that oftentimes the termination clauses are like very much in the favor of the brand or the client or the agency. And they'll be like, we can terminate at any time in our sole discretion, right? Which is like, no, you can't do that, because what if we have produced the content already? You approve the concept or whatever. We produced the content and we're just waiting to go live now, right? And then they decide to cancel the deal. No, they got to pay you. Typically it's like a prorated amount. It's called pro rata of the overall partnership. And so you have to have like language in there like that to cover yourself, because it's happened to us before. And so, the onus is on you to actually say, hey, I need some protection here. You can't just cancel it in your sole discretion. You have to like pay me, right? Let's see. Omashroon Crypto, first time on your live, but I watch your content. Really, really appreciate that. Beautifully Unique said, that voice, the next Casey Kasem. Really? Wow. Thank you. Is it because I was thinking maybe like smooth jazz radio DJ, something like this. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to our next caller for this request. Maybe something like that. No, is that a little too much? But I appreciate that. Thank you. I thank you. We got Yakup Oskardas Chung. Did I pronounce that correctly? What's going on? Tuning in on LinkedIn. Great to see you. And Nina says, oh, wow. Congrats on this new avenue. I appreciate it very much. I'm super excited about it. I am super. D in the chat knows all about the podcast because we had it. It was really fun. This week, was it this week, D? Yeah, it was this week. Earlier this week, we had a full team planning call for 2023, and we got to talk about all sorts of fun stuff: how to make the course better, the newsletter, our sponsorship strategy for Creator Wizard. It was a lot of fun, and dun dun dun, the podcast. Yeah, so I'm really excited. All right, so what are your questions, y'all? Oh my goodness. Okay. We got a question here from Yakup. He said, I am in the SaaS niche and I pitched a SaaS company. They said I should become an affiliate and bring people first to the tool. Any recommendations on the SaaS niche? Absolutely. So, this is a very common thing. So when creators reach out and pitch brands, oftentimes they'll just say, oh, be an affiliate, or, oh, be an ambassador. We'll give you 20%, commissions on every sale you bring. Obviously, that's in their best interest, right? Because they have to outlay no capital at all. And they're just going to create this little army out there of people creating content on their behalf, which is fine. That should be part of any brand's strategy, right? Like just playing devil's advocate here. But if you are interested in actually receiving flat rate upfront compensation to partner with a brand like a SaaS, company or whatever, you have to pitch them something where they'll understand why they have to pay you, right? Because most affiliates, they don't have any control over where and how that affiliate is plugging them, right? So maybe it's in a blog post or whatever, or maybe it's in a description box of a YouTube, video or whatever it is, right? But, typically the brand will not, there's a bunch of things the brand does not get from their affiliates. So for example, one of the pivots that you can make is you say to them, hey, thanks so much. I'm super, you remain upbeat. Oh, super exciting. Yep, definitely going to sign up as an affiliate. I was curious, do your affiliates also grant you paid rights to use their content or repurpose it for ads, right? Because most affiliates are not going to do that, right? And so you can explain to them how being able to repurpose and utilize that content will actually help them run more efficient ads on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, whatever, right? And so not only will you be an affiliate, but you will also help create content for them that will help them make more compelling ads. Because one of the things they definitely will be familiar with, if they're a large enough, SaaS company, is they're probably running ads, right? And so they know that, one of the exercises of the ads manager is to have a lot of different types of creative assets that they can run. Because when you're throwing a bunch of stuff into the black box of the Facebook algorithm, or pick a platform, right? Oftentimes it's very unpredictable what content will perform well. So if you come to them and kind of speak their language and say, hey, y'all, like, I can actually create, let's say, 5 videos for you. I can change up the hooks and the calls to action at the end, and you can use this specifically for paid advertising. Again, I'll still remain an affiliate for you, but if you'd like me to create some content for you to run better ads, I can do that. The investment is going to be $5,000, right? But that is a skill set that I have. That's one of my specialties. And so now you, all of a sudden, Yakup, are in a complete different conversation and comparison from other creators and other affiliates that they're working with, because they're going to think, oh yeah, you know what? You're right. We actually don't get the rights to that affiliate content. Here's the other calculus in their mind, right? Let's say they are getting a bunch of like UGC, like user generated content, and they have a bunch of affiliates, and it's like this affiliate army, and they're just like, you're just like one other person, like a commodity, right? You can have this conversation and be like, okay, think about it from their perspective. Of the people, let's say that they sent a bunch of free products to people, right? And hey, give us your address, we'll send you free stuff, right? And so of the people, let's say they sent it to 100 creators in that niche, okay? Of the 100 people, okay, how many people do you think actually will make a post about it? In my experience, I've been on the other side of this, and I know it's a very small percentage, right? It's called product seeding. Okay. When you do a product seeding, there's just a fraction of the people who will actually make a post about it, right? Unless there's like a requirement as part of receiving it. But that's not what you do with product seeding. You just send it, no strings attached, whatever. But the goal is that hopefully you will post about it. That's what they're banking on, right? And so let's say, for conversation's sake, that 35% of the people, 35 people out of the 100 do make a post about it. Honestly, I've done this many times. Of the 35 people that post about it, maybe like 3 or 4 will be actually good, right? It'll be like you'll use a high quality camera. The audio is pretty good. They said, fairly good stuff about the product, but it was okay, right? And then of those 3 or 4 people who actually did post about it, maybe 1 or 2 will actually have usable content or audio that the brand could maybe like repost it on their platforms, or use it for paid ads or whatever, if they got the rights to do that, right? But really, that is like, it is such a crazy, what's it called? Not the Pareto principle, but it's like the what's the word I'm searching for here? But it's like, yeah, there's not that many like pieces of content that you can extract from the product seeding tactic that you're able to repurpose and get extended mileage out of that endeavor, if that makes sense, right? And so you come in and kind of have this conversation with them, right? And you're knowledgeable about that. This is kind of what happens, right? And they start to realize, okay, I get why we have to pay Yakup to do this, right? Because you're right, we're not getting all that stuff. We're not getting, and because again, the other thing too, that to really, really remember here, okay, is that the reason a brand is going to compensate you is because they're going to get more control over the outcome. And that is something that you should be very upfront about, that you will give them that control, rightfully so. This is a business transaction. And so it's okay for you to say that, like, hey, you basically tell them what they can expect if this is a compensated business arrangement. I'm going to give you 2 rounds of revision, right? I'm going to, you can talk amongst your team, and before I even shoot it, I'm going to give you a concept that you can, give feedback on, and then before I even shoot it, you can approve that, right? And so you build in these safeguards all along the way, because remember, they're not getting those touch points with their affiliates. right? And so you're illustrating to them that like, hey, this is what a compensated partnership with me will look like. I'm going to give you this. I'm going to give you this. I'm going to give you rounds of revision. I'm going to give you blah, blah, blah. So that when you ultimately get this piece of content delivered to you on a golden platter, you're going to be, your mind's going to be blown and you're going to be super happy with the outcome. And then they're going to pay you again. That was a lot of talking, but do you get it? Does that make sense? Let me know if that's helpful, Yakup, because that is how you have to think about this stuff, is that if they're compensating you, they're going to get more control. And that's what brands are excited about, because then they're going to be able to get more mileage and get a more efficient return on investment from paying you, right? But because, by the way, sorry, I keep going down these tangents. Doing product seeding is not, it's a non-trivial expense, right? It costs money. The cost of the good costs money. Shipping it to you costs money. So it's like, you know, that is, there's costs associated with that. So you can have that conversation too, that like, hey, you know, yeah, maybe you got a couple pieces of content from, but like overall, if you look at the overall investment of like, you know, hiring me versus like shipping this free product to 15 people, it probably makes more sense to hire you, right? Again, it's all about kind of the outcome of the, or, you know, understanding what the success metrics are of the brand. All right. Oh my God, Brian, what's going on? We got Brian's lawn maintenance up here in the chat. What is up, bro? Okay, hold on a second here. Let's pull this up. Brian said, Justin, the one deal we were working on through a coaching call came through. I would have gave the farm away for $1,500. It came in at $81.25 because of your coaching. I had to share. Holy cow, Brian. Let's get some, come on, let's drop it in the chat here. Let's get some dollar sign emojis, some hand claps. Come on, guys. Let's give it up for Brian in the chat. I'm so excited for you, man. Hold on, I'm going to take a screenshot of this comment. Oh, love it, love it, love it. Oh, and Brian said, hold on, there's an additional comment here. Oh, and I'm doing 1/5 the work for the deliverables. Okay, this is the big win here. Okay, and actually, let's talk about this. I'm really glad you brought this up, Brian, because you know one of the biggest, I think, like realities that you have to understand. You know, when I'm having conversations with my course students or coaching clients or something like that, and I'm telling them, hey, like we need to put a package on here that's like $100,000 or like 50,000, 20,000, whatever, a lot of money. And most people are just like, there's no way. Like, what could I possibly put in that package to justify paying me that amount of money? Because what most creators think is that the only way that they could possibly charge that amount of money is if they, you know, triple, quadruple, quintuple, 10x the amount of deliverables. Okay, I'm just going to do 100 YouTube videos for this, or 100, posts or whatever, right? And if you look at their packages, it's just like a linear increase in the amount of stuff that they're giving the brand. Okay, and that is not a compelling reason for a brand to pay you that much. I'm sorry, okay? The reason that they're going to the more expensive that the packages get, the more they are getting things that are qualitative versus quantitative. So for example, what I mean by this is that package 4, for example, which is 100K or 50K or whatever, does not include 20 YouTube videos. Yeah, that's part of it, of what it includes based on the lower packages. But what they're also getting is, you're going to do a webinar in partnership with their brand. Or you are going to sit down with their full marketing team once a quarter and have a strategy call with them. And you're going to help them understand what is working well, what you're hearing in the industry. Remember, you have a very concentrated audience and a concentrated niche where you have your finger on the pulse of like their ideal customers. Remember this, right? And so it's oftentimes very difficult for companies and brands to get access to this data unless they're doing focus groups and stuff, which a lot of small and medium-sized, businesses and brands don't do stuff like that. And so you can act as their eyes and ears out there in the industry. Oftentimes you have intel on competitors too. You're not giving away proprietary intel, but like you're helping, hey, like people are telling me, hey, which email marketing, software should I use? And ConvertKit and MailChimp and Beehive and all these different ones. And you can say the questions you're hearing and the different requirements or features that people are looking for. And so it's, you know what I mean? So being able to offer to a brand like, hey, this is going to be part of the partnership. This is what I'm going to be doing for you in addition to all this stuff. How valuable do you think something like that will be to the brand? And so this is one of the big takeaways is understanding this type of thing, because like Brian said, you're going to start to make so much more money for a fraction of the work, because brands will now understand like, oh, okay, like now I understand why Brian or why Justin is so much different than all these other creators that we're working with, because we're going to unlock all these things that we previously didn't realize we could have access to, right? So holy cow, Brian's lawn maintenance. Brian, come on. 1999 super chat for the DoorDash fund. Friday. I appreciate you so much, Brian. That really, really means a lot to me. Let me, what else do I got here? I got so much stuff for y'all. Both Paul and Brian. Really, really appreciate you. Really means a lot to me. Katricia Rose says, wow, amazing. Aaron's House of Legos, hand clap. Look at all that. KMH family. I love all the hype that we're giving to everyone here. Really, really love it. We've got, Muay Thai Jody says, work smarter, not harder. Shannon in the chat said, so excited for you, Brian. Caleb and Brittany said, extra lobster tail tonight for Brian. Oh, yeah. You going to get some lobster tail, Brian? Put it on the Barbie. You got to put some shrimp on the Barbie though, too, right? Some shrimp and lobster tail. And Shannon said, again, it comes down to your unique relationship with your audience. You uniquely know them. Thank you. Can I get an amen in the chat, right? The almonds love lobster tails. They rich. He said, okay, all right, good to know. Holy cow, it's Mead Made. Just said, I just bought your gifted to paid course. Looking forward to it. Holy cow. Thank you so much. I appreciate that so much. You know what, y'all? I for those of you who don't know, I actually have, since you guys are here, I'm going to give you the deets here. Okay. I have an early Black Friday deal going on right now, which is 25% off gifted to paid. With the code, I'm going to just tell you it right now, GTP25. So if you want to get 25% off, I'm literally probably never going to do this any other time, probably during then like Black Friday, Cyber Monday. But if you want to get 25% off my gifted to paid course, GTP25 is going to get that for you. So thank you so much. It's Mead Made. I really appreciate it. Please let me know. Please, after you are able to check it out, it's only a 90, you can get through it in 90 minutes. You can binge it, y'all. You can binge it. So let me know. It's Mead Made. Let me know if you have any questions about, I would love to hear your feedback. It's funny because, my first experience, launching gifted to paid was, it was a little bit different than my cohort course, right? My cohort course is live. I interact with people. I'm talking with them live. They're asking questions and so on. And so I get a lot of feedback, right? And so the testimonials, I'm getting the feedback, the surveys, all that stuff. It's a lot easier to get when you're doing a course that is live. But I haven't gotten as much feedback on the gifted to paid course because there's not that live element. And so I'm like very hungry for feedback. So it's Mead Made. If you can let me know, what you think about it, I would absolutely love it. Or better yet, if you really find value at it, you can make me a testimonial. That would make my day. Absolutely. Holy cow. Mrs. Wright's Way said, I bought gifted to paid too. I have a few more modules to finish. Holy cow. Mrs. Wright Way, I appreciate Mrs. Wright's Way. I appreciate that so much. Really, really means a lot to me. Thank you. Hopefully you're finding value out of it. We've got N Narcs tuning in as why. And holy cow, Muay Thai Jody said, I saw that deal for gifted to paid and I am doing it as well. Love to see it. Thank you, Jody. That means a lot. It's Mead Made said, absolutely planning on going through it this weekend. Really excited to watch. It's funny. Sometimes I do that with courses too. I bought a course like maybe a couple weeks ago and I was like, okay, once my course finishes, I'm just like set aside time and I'm just going to binge this. Right. And so it's like, we're all busy, right? We're all busy. Yakup said, what was the coupon code? GTP25. Looks like I can't, okay. I'm going to put it on the screen because it looks like you're not seeing it because I'm typing it into the chat. So I'm going to add, I'm going to add a ticker, guys. 25% off gifted to paid using GTP 25. Early Black Friday deal. Okay, watch this. I'm going to get like a thing that goes across the screen. Those of you on TikTok are not going to see this, but here we go. All right, guys, look at this. Whoa, ticker, 25% off gifted to paid using GTP 25, early Black Friday deal. I guess maybe I should just type in gifted to paid. You'll find the URL, but I guess I should probably put the URL on there. Hold on. See, I'm like such a noob here. Giftedtopaid.com. There we go. So now you know actually where to get it. There we go. Look at that. Look at how cool I am. Oh, you can see it. You can see it on Instagram too. That's fun. You just can't see it on TikTok. All right, y'all. Okay, what questions you got here? I am diving into Q&A now. We've got about 15 minutes left. Nina says it makes it look like it's breaking news. I mean, it kind of is breaking news, is it not, Nina? Breaking news. I've literally never discounted anything in my entire life on Creator Wizard, and now I'm doing it. This is happening, right? The only time I discount the course is if you refer 5 creators to my newsletter. Or if you refer 100 to my newsletter, you actually get free enrollment. So I do a little bit of discounting for my referrals to my newsletter and stuff, but like I don't run just like random discounts or promotions or anything like that. So anyways, we've got Annie Portalatin Real Estate joined as well. Good to see you. Good Mom Life said creator/brand consultant. No, question mark. I am primarily a creator sponsorship consultant. I don't work with brands really. I used to do that in a past life, but now I have way more fun working with creators directly. So I'm primarily a sponsorship coach where I help creators. Yeah, Nina says totally. Okay, y'all. So I was going to mention something about, yes, my newsletter, y'all. So crazy thing. I hit 8,000 creators on my newsletter. Can you believe that? Actually, I think it's like 8,200 something now, which just absolutely blows my mind. And it's funny because I have, there's all these like big things that I had wanted to do with my newsletter because, I pour so much energy into the newsletter. I have a team helping me curate it all, right? So it's like the way in which, let me give you a little bit of like sausage making of how the newsletter actually comes together. So if you're on the newsletter, you see that every week we share paid sponsorship opportunities to creators. It's a free newsletter, right? And so the way in which we're able to actually make this happen is a lot of it are deals that are sent to my wife and I directly, right? And we basically say, hey, we're not interested. Seems like a great opportunity. Would you also like to access, are you looking for additional influencers? Because I have this newsletter that I do every week and I'm happy to like share it in there for free, right? I'm not charging brands to like put these opportunities in there, right? This is totally free. Unless they're sponsoring the newsletter, that's different, right? But normally like 99% of them are not, right? It's just for free. So that's like a lot of brands are kind of incredulous. They're like, wait, like what's the catch? And I'm just like, there's no catch. Like I just really, truly want to help creators like, connect to great opportunities and so on, right? And so we take those opportunities, we put them into a Notion database, okay? And so that's like the initial content like collection or the opportunity collection piece of it. But then there's all sorts of other different curation that needs to happen. For example, if you refer at least one other creator to the newsletter using your like referral link, you will also unlock additional research of 5 brands that we do every week that have done a recent partnership with the creator. So we basically are reverse engineering it. We're saying, hey, we just saw that this creator posted a sponsored post on Instagram or TikTok or their blog or podcast or whatever, right? And let's now figure out, okay, they're working with creators. Who is the probable contact at that brand that is responsible for that partnership? So we'll go on LinkedIn, we'll find the contact. We'll even tell you why we believe that's the right contact. We will, give you their LinkedIn URL. We'll give you their likely email address, and we'll give you pitching angles of what you could actually say when you reach out, right? And so this is like, it's a huge amount of work. And bless Dee here in the chat, like I could not do that. I used to do it all, and Dee is the guru. She's actually a past alumni of my course in cohort 3, and she is now like the expert. She's amazing at this, and so she does it. I literally don't even look at them anymore because it's that good. I mean, I look at them, but I don't like top to bottom. She does it all, and so she is amazing at pulling that together. So we're doing that every week. We're curating news articles that we think you should read. we're curating, a new video or a new piece of content, like new helpful pitching angle, tips or new YouTube video, podcasts or whatever, shout outs to other creators who are doing cool projects. And then I do, promo the live stream that I'm doing every week. And so it is an undertaking because I literally have never missed a newsletter unless it's a holiday or something like that. But I literally have not missed a Thursday newsletter in, I think, almost 2 years, unless it was like during a launch of the course and everything like that. And so it was like that consistency, that regularity. It's kind of crushing. It's a lot of work, right? And so bless my team. Like I would not be able to do it without them. And so I'm just so blown away because now that I have like this many people on it, it's crazy. Like I am sending out lots and lots of emails. Like let me see if I can like do a screen share here just to like show you here. It's crazy just to kind of have fun here and show you this. How many emails that I have sent out here, subscribers. Let me see here. Those of you who are on TikTok, unfortunately, aren't going to see this, but let me show you here. Holy cow, guys. Okay, let me I'm going to share my screen so you can see this here. Check this out. This is hilarious. Check this out. I have sent 799,000 emails. 799,000 emails now. Can you get over that? That is so crazy. 8,200 creators on my newsletter. That is just so wild to me. But it's like this is the and the reason I kind of wanted to talk about this today, just kind of at the end here, is that you never know what's going to happen. Look at Twitter right now, okay? There's a lot of crazy things going on with Twitter right now, okay? And there's potentially a question mark of, okay, is it going to go away? Is Twitter not going to exist anymore? I have spent the last 2 years putting so much time into growing my Twitter following because I viewed it as a really important way to like grow my personal brand as a creator, as a coach, and so on. And so the prospect of it potentially going away and not existing anymore is very sad to me, right? And yet I feel comforted knowing that at the same time that I was growing my Twitter, I was really had a concerted strategy of growing my newsletter. Every single time someone followed me on Twitter, for the most part, I would DM them. If they looked like a creator who was trying to make money off of their creator business, I would DM them and say, hey, thank you so much for following me. I also have a newsletter where I share paid sponsorship opportunities every week. Here's the link. And I did that for so long, and it really contributed to growing my newsletter. And so I feel comforted in the fact that like, hey, all this time and all this effort that I put into growing on Twitter, even if it goes away, I still have this connection to 8,200 people who have raised their hand and said that they still want to hear from me. And that will essentially kind of insulate me or hedge my risk of losing out on a platform that I've been growing for the last several years, right? And so I just wanted to mention that because I just cannot implore you enough to start an email list, start a newsletter, even something as simple as, hey, I'm going to, if you want to stay updated with me or better yet, like, hey, I'm going to send you a free checklist or a free workbook or something like, doesn't need to be complicated, a reason for people to opt in and stay updated with you. It shouldn't just be, oh, I'm going to send you my new videos. It's just not a good enough reason, right? So again, like really think, okay, I need to think about how having a newsletter can contribute to my overall creator business, because guess what? Now that I've grown the newsletter to the scale that it's at now, I am now able to monetize that through sponsorships. I never thought that was going to be another potential revenue basket for me, but now it is. Now there are all these creator economy startups out there who are like, oh, can we sponsor your newsletter now? In fact, I just did a sponsorship for my newsletter yesterday with a company called Notch. Shout out to Notch. They are an insurance company for creators. So it's really cool, actually. They, full disclosure, again, they sponsor the newsletter, but I think it's cool because I only work with, sponsors who I think are actually really valuable. And they provide insurance if you get your account hacked. So let's say that you have a couple of sponsorships coming up and you all of a sudden lose access to your Instagram or all of a sudden lose access to your YouTube. What are you going to do? Probably that deal is going to fall apart, right? Because you can't post the content, right? And so what they will do is you actually pay insurance, just like disability insurance, which I have, by the way, or these other types of insurance that they basically will pay you a certain amount every single day until you get your account back. And they actually have a team of people who will help you like kind of triage and try to interact with the platform to get your account account back, right? And so I think it's a really awesome idea. Right now they have Instagram, they're releasing YouTube insurance soon. And I think, again, if you are monetizing your business using these social media platforms, if you've ever tried to interact, if you've ever tried to send a form or hear back from any of these platforms, it's like, good luck, right? And so I think it's like super smart for a relatively modest investment to hedge your bets and get insurance on this type of stuff. So really encouraged to see certain companies like this crop up, because I think that I think it's going to really help. Muay Thai Jody said, I just did an estimate with them. Love to see it. Holy cow. Absolutely love to see that, Jody. That is awesome. Love to see it. And you know what? I'm going to take a screenshot of this to send it to them, because this is cool. I love to see that. Anyways, I'm going to take a swig, y'all. Okay. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Nina says, D, thank you so much for your efforts. I joined a platform today from your recommendation in the community. Love to see it. Love to see it. KMH family says, love the newsletters. I get excited on Thursday mornings. I love waiting on your email to come through. Thank you so much. That really means a lot to me, Hannity. Okay, we got a question from Brian here in the chat. Justin, I got a question for you. Working with a brand, management has changed. They don't have a budget and they want to do gifted only. I had a great call to explain what we can do with more budget. How would you navigate? So I guess my question for you, Brian, is how did they react to that when you kind of floated that idea about what they could do with the budget and helping them understand that? I need a little bit more context or understanding. How receptive were they to when you were talking about that kind of thing? Because I think that'll change my advice a little bit. If they're like a blockade and they're just like poker face and they're just like, no, gifted only, that's a different story than if they're just like, tell me more, right? So let me know if you can tell me a little bit more context. Nina says, what a great point about these private business platforms. Our eggs need to be in multiple baskets. Yeah, 100%. KMH family just said, holy cow, we just started our email list and got it to almost 1,000 in less than a month. Thank you so much for your gems. Oh my gosh, I am so proud of you guys. That is amazing and so crucially important. Take it from KMH family, guys. That is critical. So proud of you. If they can do it, you can do it. Holy God, we got the Omar Murillo in the chat. What is going on, Omar? Great to see you, Omar. Omar is one of my best friends, y'all. So good to see you, Omar. Wanted to give you that shout out. What's going on, dude? Chef CT said, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. Appreciate it. To you as well. Growing Green Landscapes. Love the content. Keep it coming. Charge Brian more though. LOL. Wow. We got some friendly competition going between friends here. Well, you know what? Growing Green, I don't price discriminate at all. Anyone who wants to work with me, hey, it's $1,000 an hour for a coaching call. Just hit me up. Or I feel like a lot of y'all, like, all y'all like Brian and Jeremiah and Caleb and Brittany, all y'all, you guys got to join the Wizard Guild. I'm telling you, because Paul can testify in the chat here. He actually did give me a testimonial for an email I sent out recently. But I think this is going to be the most exciting and useful offer that we've ever had, actually, and service, because you're able to like just send us a quick note. Hey, what would you do in this scenario? So rather than having to like justify booking an entire call, twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursday mornings, you can get all your questions answered. And so it is kind of a timely thing, because not all of this stuff I feel like needs to be synchronous, right? Like on an actual Zoom call or whatever. I think it's going to, once people see the value of being able to just like quickly ask a question, you don't have a manager, but just having kind of a coach in your pocket for this kind of real-time assistance and consultation, I think is going to be a game changer. And that one is only $1,000 a month, right? And so you have potentially 8 touch points throughout the month, Tuesdays, 4 weeks to be able to ask all these questions. So I think, again, I want to design something that just felt like a no-brainer. And so, really, really excited about that one. Omar said, what's up? You are the man. What's going on, Omar? Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Okay, Brian said, they're only exploring gifted at this time. I basically said, if you can do a budget between X and Y, that would be helpful. She said, we'll see what the new management says. Okay. Well, in that situation, Brian, I think what I would do is try to get on a call with the new management, probably, because what's happening now is like your value proposition is being filtered. It's like a game of telephone, and the brand is now hearing kind of a third party account of like what you say you can do for them. Because again, if you're not able to put on that charm that I know you have, Brian, where you're able to actually interact with them, oftentimes it's hard for them to understand like, oh, okay, like I get it. Like I feel like Brian has our best interests at heart. And I get why we have to pay him, right? But if you're not able to kind of do your song and dance routine and kind of put on that show for them, then perhaps it's going to be difficult. D, actually, I feel like I wish I could like pull you into this live stream because you're great at this. D is amazing at like being able to pivot these gifted conversations into paid partnerships because again, it's about help, because a lot of times brands are not accustomed to, if they've been doing gifted partnerships for this whole time and that's the only worldview that they have is like, well, we're getting this stuff right now from doing free product offers and people are creating content about it and they're doing XYZ and all this stuff, right? It's so hard for them to understand like, okay, well, what would I actually get that's different if we were to actually compensate you? And so oftentimes it needs to be these other things that we talked about a little bit earlier, Brian, where it's like these non-deliverable related things that will help them understand why paying you makes sense. So yes, again, getting usage rights, maybe, these kind of strategy calls, maybe it means you're going to actually open doors for them to connect with some of your other colleagues in the industry. And you're going to help be almost like an ambassador for them, spreading goodwill to the entire community. So, oftentimes, again, there's like kind of these non-tangible benefits that you can explain to them as part of, you could put these into the proposal of how you're going to be an advocate for them, moving forward, and helping. Again, a lot of it is like this problem solution mindset that we've talked about on some of our calls, Brian, is like identifying, okay, what are you trying to accomplish this year? And then they say, oh, we're trying to do this. And then it's your job to basically be like, well, I think it's going to be really hard for you to accomplish that by just sending out free products. Right. And so it's like you just listen rather than saying, hey, like you got to pay me, right? Which is what a lot of creators do. You listen first. You say, oh, okay. Yeah, that's so interesting that you want to break into this, the Southeast market in, with your lawn equipment or whatever. You can be like, it's going to be very hard for you to do that if you're only doing gifted product. Let me explain how, if you compensated me, I could help you accomplish that goal in a much either quicker fashion or a much more efficient fashion, or XYZ, right? So I think that it's a game of that. And Brian said, yeah, I tried to add value, explain context, be a bill for them for the future, tried to differentiate myself versus the other people in their shortlist, be an advisor, learn those from you. You're doing all the right stuff, man. And the reality is, I'll be totally straight with you. Sometimes the brands are just going to be like, you know what? No, sorry, we're only doing gifted. And that is going to happen. That is a reality. And so you have done your best. And so rather than just completely ghosting them and, not ever responding to them again, you basically say, hey, you know what? Totally understand that, would love to keep in touch. And then you just keep nurturing that relationship, because push comes to shove, they might realize, 3 months down the line that like, oh, actually, we do need to actually, get some content that we can get paid rights with, or yeah. Oh, remember Brian said that he could do this one thing for us. Let's go reach back out to him. Here's a great example. There was an agency that, when we started doing Amazon Lives, we started out doing our whole nurture thing and reaching out to past clients and being like, hey, we do Amazon Live now. Right. And this is something that we can do. And a lot of them were just like, nah, not interested. Thanks, but no thanks kind of thing. Right. We did get some takers, right? But it was not as many as we hoped for. Right. But then, literally like 2 days ago, got a message from one of these agencies that we had reached out to literally a year ago, December 2021. That was the last time that we had pitched the Amazon Live thing. And they reached out to us and said, hey, I remember you told us about Amazon Live. We have a client that's interested in it now. Can you tell us more? And they literally didn't know anything about it. This is a big agency. They didn't know anything about live commerce, like Amazon Live type of thing. So I literally made a quick video for them, like a Loom screen share. And I literally walked them through how it works. I said, okay, here's our page. here's how we do the live streams. They asked a bunch of questions. They asked some follow-up questions, blah, 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 blah. And then that was it. That was 2 days ago. And they're like, okay, we're going to talk to our client. We'll get back to you. And so that's how this stuff works a lot of time. When you reach out, when you nurture these relationships, oftentimes there may not be an immediate opportunity, but again, it's about the long game. It's about stretching your time horizon and realizing that, hey, I may not get this deal right now, but I've illustrated that I could be a potentially amazing partner. And I'm going to get a deal with them eventually. Just knowing, feeling in your bones, I am going to get a deal with them at some point. You just got to feel that. Okay. So hopefully that's helpful, Brian. Holy cow, KMH family, a super chat. I think this is the most super chats I've ever gotten in one live stream. $60 worth of $59.97 worth of super chats. Holy cow. Justin, you have been such an inspiration through our journey. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. We just crossed 200,000 on my baby girl's channel. I found you when we were under 100K. Holy cow. That's the DoorDash that's the DoorDash wine fund. Holy cow. Thank you so much to each and every one of you. I can't thank you enough. You guys are such a blessing in my life. And I hope that I am the same for you. Really, really appreciate it. One final plug here. Holy cow. Hold on a second. Stop the presses here. Jody on the live stream right now literally just signed up for Gifted to Paid. I see your order come through. I'm looking at my email here. Jody, I don't know if you're still in the IG chat here, but I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. And as a reminder, for any of you who are here right now, GTP25 for 25% off Gifted to Paid. Just go to giftedtopaid.com if you want to take advantage of that. So hope you all have a wonderful weekend. And I will not be doing a live stream next week, obviously, because it's the holidays. And I'm going to be spending time with my family, as I hope you will. If you celebrate, will be as well. So I'll see you the week after that. Jody's still on the chat. Thank you, Jody. I appreciate it so much. All right, guys, I will see you next time.